Hi, welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions. I'm Tim Derling. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a good summer. We're about midway through August, and I just hope it's going well for everybody out there. This is not going to be a terribly long episode. It's an album review episode, but it's actually not a new album. I'll show you what it is. Hasn't been out too long. This is Whitesnake, the Rock album. And this is actually part of a three-part series that David Coverdale and Whitesnake are going to be putting out. There's going to be the Blues album, and there's going to be the Love album. And as you may have guessed, this is a collection of some of Whitesnake's heavier songs in one place. And it's on Rhino Records, and it just came out in 2020. And the trick is, or the selling point of this, is that the songs have been not just remixed, remastered, but in some cases, some of the current Whitesnake players have added guitar parts. The production is radically changed in some parts. They're not remakes. They're the existing songs, but they've been augmented in many ways. And I'll just turn this around so you can see the back cover. You could probably guess on some of the songs there. They don't go back beyond the Slide It In album for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe they couldn't heavy up some of those songs, even though there's great stuff on the early Whitesnake albums. Booklet that came with it, nice little design here, classic Whitesnake logo, and innovative, in-depth, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Liner notes from David Coverdale himself talking about the planned trilogy and each song. Now, why did I buy this? Well, I'm kind of a completist, but I will say it is worth picking up because you can actually hear a difference. Most notably in the songs that they chose from the 1987 album, the Whitesnake album it's called, in some places. Some places it is called 1987. I have always loved that album. It's an all-time classic. I've been familiar with it since I was 13. It was my introduction to Whitesnake, as it was for a lot of people my age in North America. I've never been a big fan of the production on it. It's, no disrespect to the late Mike Stone. It's a noisy production. The drums are just overpowering. And I've always liked the songs. Have never been big on the production. I've always, and I've said this on different episodes, I've always preferred Slip of the Tongue. And one of the reasons is that it's easier to listen to. So what they did with Still of the Night, Give Me All Your Love, and Here I Go Again, the drums are a lot tighter. The lead guitar parts are cranked up. Some of the vocal parts are cranked up. It's noticeably different. And in the case of Still of the Night, one of the things I thought was really cool is it actually ends. It actually has an ending on it as opposed to just fade out as most 80s songs do. Another thing I like about this is that it sheds light on a few albums that may have passed by some casual Whitesnake fans, including an album that until now has never been even talked about being released in North America, and that's Restless Heart, which came out in 1997. It never came out in North America. I ended up with a Japanese import CD on EMI, and there's no less than 5 songs from that album here. So of the 16 songs on here, he must have really wanted to push that album. There's the title song, Anything You Want, Crying, Can't Stop Now. Maybe there's only 4 songs, but that's a pretty big chunk. That's a quarter of this album is dedicated to Restless Heart. It's also got Best Years, Can You Hear the Wind Blow, From Good to Be Bad, which was their comeback album. It came out in 2008. And then it's got some stuff from Forevermore. It's got the title song and Tell Me How. Now, there's nothing from last year's album, Flesh and Blood, which I guess that would have been a little bit too soon. There is one song called Always the Same, which was recorded for those sessions, but not used on the album. Fine song. One song here that's really got me interested in checking an album out is the song She Give Me, which came off David Coverdale's 2000 solo album, Into the Light. Now, that's only the 3rd album that's come out that's actually just been under his name and not called Whitesnake, since the first 2 albums he did in between Deep Purple and forming Whitesnake. And it's pretty much probably a Whitesnake album. So based on what I've heard, I may have to check that one out. It's a good collection of songs. It's not necessarily all the hits, but it's even if you know those recordings inside and out, especially if you know those recordings inside and out, it's worth checking out to hear what they did with it. Another thing I want to show you is this, which is showing all the albums, the source material these albums came from, including both the different covers that they used for the Restless Heart album, both the covers they used for Forevermore. That's Into the Light, the one I was talking about. Also interesting, for Slide It In, 1987, A Slip of the Tongue, they're showing the remastered version. So they're really pushing the Rhino versions of these. So if you're a Whitesnake fan, it's worth picking up. I didn't go in for the vinyl this time around. I might yet. I just got the CD. It's also got a photo of some, but definitely not all, of the past Whitesnake lineups. There's also nothing on here from the Purple album, but that album was an album of remakes to begin with, so I guess it really didn't make sense. So I guess we'll be on the lookout for the Love album and the Blues album. Oh, by the way, the Blue album's supposed to have a blue theme, and the Love album's supposed to have a red theme. So there you go. That's my 2 cents on Whitesnake, the Rock album. Thanks for watching Tim's Vinyl Confessions.